All right, so I want to share some pro tips for speakers. Some things that really make all the difference. I've worked with a lot of speakers, and I've hired a lot of speakers when I used to run a networking organization. I've been a speaker. I watch speakers. I analyze them, and these are things that I've seen that really differentiate a okay speaker from a fantastic speaker. Okay, so here you go. So the first thing is dress your brand. Just similar to networking, when you're on stage, show up the way that you want to show up that represents your brand. Wear your brand colors. Use that totem, all that kind of stuff, and really reflect what people are going to see when they also go to your website. So if you have more of a casual brand, and you want to wear a blazer with tennis shoes and that's the pictures on your website, great, do it. If you're dressed up on your website, dress up for stage, that type of stuff. It just helps bring it all together, okay? Because we don't want people in the back of their head going, something feels unaligned. So I want you just to be super intentional about dressing your brand. The second thing is I want you to arrive early to the venue, right? And walk the room. So get there before everyone else does. If you're speaking somewhere and it's maybe just an hour and it's in the back of a restaurant, stop by the restaurant, earlier or a week before, just so you get a lay of the land. It really helps calm nerves, and it helps you understand and have a visualization of how you're going to be able to speak effectively. If you're going to walk the room, that type of thing. If you're in a conference and there's a stage, go early and go walk the stage, get a feel for it. It's going to really, really help you, and it's going to definitely calm nerves, and it's going to help you know how to best deliver the message. Okay, so arrive early. Walk the room. I think I said in the previous video, participate, when you can. Don't just come in and just come in and speak and leave, right? So, it's really important to do that. Then the next thing is, if you're speaking for free, make sure you ask if you can give the audience a gift, whether that's a freebie lead magnet, a copy of your book, a consultation. You want to, make sure you ask and get that permission. Don't just assume. And that way they'll keep inviting you back versus the person that gets up and, sells something and it's a shock to the person who's organized it and stuff like that. You really want to respect the room that somebody puts together for you to come in and speak. Okay. Always bring a printed copy of your bio if someone is introducing you. Just have it there in a bigger font. And, if there's words that are complicated or even the spelling of your name, make sure you spell it out. For me as Bowman, people look at the H and the L and they get confused. So I would put BOWL in parentheses and then MAN in parentheses to Bowman, that type of stuff to make it super easy, or give it to them ahead of time and have them read it and ask you questions or what have you. Okay. So bring a copy of that bio. A lot of times people forget about it. If they don't introduce you, introduce yourself in the first 30 seconds of your speech, in a way that gives you some credibility right off the bat. Then always thank the organization and leaders publicly. First and foremost, thank you so much, blah, blah, blah group, or, if it's a leader that's invited you, I appreciate being here and that type of stuff, and then go into your thing. So, depending on the type of speaker you are, if you're a storytelling transformation where you want to hook them right away, you may not want to do that, but when you can, always thank them, okay, for the opportunity publicly. And if it doesn't make sense for you to do it at the venue, do it on social media afterwards, okay? And tag them. Be a gracious speaker. Don't be demanding. Don't demand things, and be ready to go if something goes wrong. It's not a matter of if something goes wrong, it's when. You want to be so prepared and good. And this isn't going to be something right off the bat. Let me just be clear. As you deepen your experience with speaking and stuff like that, you want to think in terms of, can I give this talk if the microphone's out and I don't have my slides and that kind of stuff. You want to be able just to hop up and do it. Like a good exercise, a mental exercise to think about is, if you're going to a conference, there's 1,000 of your ideal coaching clients sitting out there, and the conference organizer comes to you and says, oh my gosh, my speaker, my keynote is stuck at the airport and is not going to make it. And she has 30 minutes. Can you replace her? And it's like, yes. And so you want to be like ready to go. Okay. I've worked with some speakers who are a little demanding, and I'll just say I don't invite them back when I have had my live events a lot more, just because it's not fun. It's just like icky. You don't want to be known as that. I'm sure you've heard of celebrities or musicians that have these writers that are like crazy, right? It's like, I want a bowl of Skittles, but you have to take out all the red ones, and they do that kind of intentionally and stuff like that. But that stuff's not cool, especially in the speaker space. You want to be ready to go. You want to be gracious. Like my favorite speakers are the ones that just, they just roll with it, because you never know if the power goes out or there's things that are going to happen outside of the control that you have. Like I've been somewhere where they said there's a stage, but there's not a stage, so it's like you just got to work the room and walk the room a little bit more. So you want to be prepared for all of that, and don't be known as one of these demanding speakers, because it'll get out there pretty quickly. It's a small world in the speaking community when you really think about it. All right, so bring plenty of business cards. You're going to meet some amazing people, especially those people are going to want you to book you to come speak on their podcast or speak to their group or speak on their stage, that kind of stuff. So bring plenty of cards. You want to also, again, stay and participate at the event when possible, because that also deepens the connections. You don't want to just be this person that like flies in and out and, like it's like this celebrity kind of vibe. It's like we want to show that we're real human beings and we're there to connect and also support the person that invited you to speak on the stage as well. Okay. So participate, share, mingle, network, all that kind of stuff. Like it's really, really cool. And I can tell you, I've met some amazing speakers because they do this. They're also in the back of the room at the conference taking notes. Participate. I mean, that's there for you. You don't want to just be the person that just comes in and out and, and does their thing. I mean, maybe eventually when you're making multi-millions and doing the stages and you fly in your private jet and that kind of stuff, and that's something you want to do, cool. If that's part of your brand or what have you, that's fine, do you. But based on what I've seen some really big name speakers that do participate. And, because when you're speaking, sometimes you're blocking off the day, right? So, it's important to just deepen those connections. That's how you get more clients. Also share your experience on social media. So don't be, afraid to like tag the event, tag the person, tag people that you're meeting as you go, do selfies, that kind of stuff, and share all of that. Leverage your audience. And what it's also doing is, obviously it's giving them visibility, and it's also showing your audience, hey, I'm a speaker, too. Look at me, I'm speaking here, and thank you, XYZ event, for having me. And, and here's the link to their website if you want to learn more about the next conference or whatever. Like, show that value. That's going to be how you get invited back. And then also, and sometimes, sharing the experience on social media and kind of giving some behind the scenes is cool. And, if you have an email list, share that experience, and all that stuff too, because it's also sharing with your audience that you're a speaker. And you never know, you will probably get booked more by people in your audience when they know this. We got to show, don't just tell. We got to show people we're a speaker, not just tell them that we're a speaker. And then you want to book a speaking gig from a speaking gig. That's really important as well. All right. So I'm going to share in the next video 6 steps to pitch yourself as a speaker, because now you're like, all right, great. Now how do I go find speaking gigs and all that stuff? So I'm going to share that with you next, as well as how to get paid as a speaker.